With the advent of Photoshop and design software, everybody with a mouse and keyboard thinks they're a graphic designer. But art is subjective, so just because you think your designs are good, doesn't mean they are. Well, if that's the case, Cal, how am I supposed to know if my self-designed book covers are any good? Easy. Before you touch a computer, you need to know about the intersection of design. Here's how it works. Imagine a Venn diagram, but instead of 2 circles, it's made from 4 circles. Is that still a Venn diagram, or is it called something else? Anyway, each of these 4 circles represents a golden rule of design. They are the foundations from which every graphic artist operates. If 2 of these circles intersect and you execute both rules in your design, you'll have something slightly better than a preschooler using crayons. If 3 circles intersect and you execute all 3 rules, you'll have something better than most people who don't know anything about art. But if all 4 circles intersect, that's when the foundations of design start working in a perfect harmony. You end up operating from here. This is where the professionals live. And if you follow these steps, you can go pro too. So what are these 4 circles and how do I find them? They seem basic, but they're actually quite complex. So let's go through all 4 in the simplest way possible. Circle 1, style. In every design, you need to consider the style of the composition. Consider the fashion of design at the time. It's easy to find these trends because they're on every poster, book cover, seminar pamphlet, and cafe menu. But you also might want to consider the longevity of your design. If your style is too trendy, it can end up aging badly, like these retro designs which are all fashion and no long-term value. Circle 2, color theory. This is where a lot of people go wrong. It seems obvious not to use colors that clash and not to use lighting or shadows incorrectly, but I find most amateur designers using generic colors. There's an almost infinite variety of color at your disposal, so spend some time finding the ones that fit, and learn about what colors mean. Reds inspire passion and hunger, blues inspire trust and modernization. What are your colors saying about your design? We could do an entire video on color theory, including the technicalities of CMYK and RGB, and I might do that one day, but in the meantime, the important thing is that your colors are working in harmony with the other 3 circles. Speaking of 3 circles, circle 3, imagery. This is the bulk of your design. Imagery covers things like graphics, typography, and composition. Every small shape, line, and curve matters. If you're only looking at the entire image, you miss things. The way a composition becomes great is by building it from the ground up. Choose purposeful fonts that convey the message clearly. Choose images that inspire thoughts about the product, and make sure when all these things come together that they're easy to understand. Circle 4, formatting. This is the boring stuff, or at least it is to most people. Personally, I find formatting to be where all the fun is. It covers things like spacing, layout, and legibility. Here's an example. When you place an object in front of another object, you wouldn't cover the entire thing up and leave a silhouette. It makes the foreground object more difficult to see and the background objects too hidden to create any depth. Move it here, however, and you get a nice distance between the objects, with no mess. Not only is this whole image easier to understand, it also draws the eyes to the object you want to see. Formatting on its own is powerful, as are the other 3 circles, but when you bring them together, you get a design which is worth people spending their money on, the golden intersection. So next time you start designing a poster or a book cover and you want professional results, put in professional work and make sure these 4 circles are working together in perfect harmony. If you enjoyed this video and you want more, I make weekly content to inspire the creativity in you. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.